Fellow citizens, hello and welcome to the third episode of what we've called ZUULA. Now ZUULA translates to discover. We're discovering the economic history of Uganda. Now as the saying goes, you can never get to where you want to get unless you discover where you're coming from. Now we've gone pre-independence, pre-colonialism, colonialism, and now we are at independence. Now at independence in 1962 October the 9th, Uganda was first named the sovereign state of Uganda before officially declaring it as a republic in 1967.
Uganda, you quit the carry to Lisa, or Rakasana, and Kume, you Julina. No, because he wants chance with Violetta. Yeah. Abali verawo balyezawo balikakazanya goggo babyetwa saawo balinyanya n'emitunga balaba byetwa jjawo nganze naawe n'oli twevaako wandyenonyeza wakafe nawe twegazanyiza Uganda keefuuka ekirooto ky'otula
and our flag is raised. Uganda is independent. Exactly at 1 minute past midnight, the fabulous and colorful fireworks.
Uganda, you quit the carry to Lisa, or Rakasana, and Kume, you Julina. No, because he wants chance with Violetta.
Okwagala kwanga simulimu gw'abakulembeze si gw'abalwanyi gwalinda tetweraga bukyaayi wana Uganda tetweyiwa musaayi kuba ffe baana ate okusiima Uganda gyeyisa okusabira kugyeraga mpitaani gwalinda lw'osobola olibuuza wakiwo jjo laaligamba n'aliko ekisaanyi kuba ffe baana ate
yaniriza buli atuuse mikwano nganda taata maama kone momboze abalangi n'abatalinga kabila tobuuse
gw'abalwanyi gwalinda tetweraga bukyaayi wana Uganda tetweyiwa musaayi kuba ffe baana ate okusiima Uganda gyeyisa okusabira kugyeraga mpitaani gwalinda lw'osobola olibuuza wakiwo jjo laaligamba n'aliko ekisaanyi.
Do swear that I'll be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I'll support and uphold the Constitution of Uganda as by law established. So help me God.
Wensirika nsabira Uganda ebeerye yedda kyeyakusinze okunoolukanira kutta njagala Uganda yekwetta keri tulisa.
Uganda's economy resumed rapid growth with GDP including subsistence agriculture, expanding approximately 6.7% per year. Even with a population growth estimated at 2.5% per year, net economic growth of more than 4% suggested that people's lives were improving. In 1963, Sir Edward Mutesa II was elected by the parliament as the first president of Uganda, and the executive powers were invested in the prime minister.
Buli atuse mikwano nganda tata mama kone mombose avalanji n'abatalinga kabila tobuse nange gwanjo sokutuka wano wentuse bakozi basimbi balambuzi wano tuse unonyeleza bibila biwombe byebase fakwebyo nawe manye chicholi oli muna Uganda
tukukopa kwa mutonzi waffe kwagala okwaddala obucayi waffe bwakikwangala
fakwebyo nawe manye chicholi oli muna Uganda
okwagala eggwanga si mulimu gw'abakulembeze si gw'abalwanyi gwalinda tetweraga bucayi wana Uganda tetweyiwa musaayi kuba ffe baana te okusiima Uganda gyeyisa okusabira kugyeraga mpitaani gwalinda lw'osobola olibuuza wakiwojjola aligamba n'aliko ekisaanyi kuba ffe baana te
yaniriza buli atuuse mikwano nganda tata mama kone mombose avalanji n'abatalinga kabila tobuuse nange gwanjoza okutuuka wano wentuse bakozi basimbi balambuzi wano tuuse unonyeleza bibila biwombe byebase fakwebyo nawe manye chicholi oli muna Uganda
tukukopa kwa mutonzi waffe kwagala okwaddala obucayi waffe bwakikwangala
fakwebyo nawe manye chicholi oli muna Uganda
okwagala eggwanga si mulimu gw'abakulembeze si gw'abalwanyi gwalinda tetweraga bucayi wana Uganda tetweyiwa musaayi kuba ffe baana te okusiima
abalibeerawo balyezaawo balikakazanya goggoba byetwasaawo balimenya n'emitu nga balaba byetwajjawo nganze naawe n'oli twevaako wandyenonyeza wakaffe nawe twegazanyiza Uganda keefuuka ekirooto ky'otulo kye twafuna leka bagambe ffe tusingako omukwano bakira okwenkanya eddemme mu bannansi ye wammwe mwebaka
okwagala eggwanga si mulimu gw'abakulembeze si gw'abalwanyi gwalinda tetweraga bucayi wana Uganda tetweyiwa musaayi kuba ffe baana te okusiima Uganda gyeyisa okusabira kugyeraga mpitaani gwalinda lw'osobola olibuuza wakiwojjola aligamba n'aliko ekisaanyi kuba ffe baana te
ebiwonvu n'ensozi Uganda mweyise abaana b'okutuuka mwattu n'okulwanyisa emize tinkole ntya okufaanana ennyonyi ennyange ekazo yange kaddiye amabala gagyetimbi bagamba bwakuba owengala kubawumba yekkula omusungu akimanya azunga wensirika nsabira Uganda ebeeri ey'edda eyakusinzeko okuna oluganira kutta njagala Uganda yeggwe ettaka erituliisa olw'akasana n'enkuba eyo gyetulina n'obukozi bwancansi bwe bayolesa
okwagala eggwanga si mulimu gw'abakulembeze si gw'abalwanyi gwalinda tetweraga bucayi wana Uganda tetweyiwa musaayi kuba ffe baana te okusiima Uganda gyeyisa okusabira kugyeraga mpitaani gwalinda lw'osobola olibuuza wakiwojjola aligamba n'aliko ekisaanyi kuba ffe baana te yaniriza buli atuuse mikwano nganda tata mama kone mombose avalanji n'abatalinga kabila
in its capital city, and I'm sure that there is one good reason why they do this. These monuments, fashioned in the style of each nation, act as an interpretation and a focus of national feeling. This sense of nationality is among the most important of our occupations today in Uganda. The celebrations are over, but let us go back for a moment to October the 8th, when the Prime Minister spoke to us all and stirred us with his independence message. At midnight tonight, Uganda shall become independent. We shall have a Uganda flag, a national anthem, and coat of arms. These will be our symbols, but independence does not begin and end with the selection and raising of a flag, the singing of a national anthem, and the display of a coat of arms. Our independence shall mean great responsibilities for all of us without exception. Collectively, we shall all be responsible to safeguard our independence and to ensure peace and stability within our country. In addition, the government in whose name I now speak offers to you a firm determination to protect your life and property and opportunities for your advancement. It is this ensuring of peace and stability and this determination for the protection of life and property, coupled with opportunities for advancement as individuals and as combinations and as a country, that I now call upon all to pass as an irrevocable resolution, marking our new status and guiding us into the future. Let us add to that resolution that we are of Uganda and Uganda is ours.
However, the Uganda People's Congress UPC of Obote was composed of people who opposed the political dominance of the Buganda Kingdom and Kabaka, who is the king of Buganda. But in the struggle for independence, the Uganda People's Congress had made an alliance with Kabaka Yeka, which was called the KY, a party which was in support of preserving powers of traditional chiefs and kings. Nevertheless, after independence, the relationship between the two parties soured, and Obote ended up declaring himself president and was sworn in on April 15, 1966. Now, Obote was the first executive president of the Republic of Uganda, taking over from Sir Edward Mutesa II. Now, it's important for you guys to understand that the first president of the country was a king. Some of you do not know, but it is true and it is real. On the 24th of May 1966, followed by accusations by Milton Obote against Kabaka Edward Mutesa II that he had committed treason, the Uganda army, powered by a cabinet resolution, stormed the Lubiri, the palace of the kingdom, with full military assault. Kabaka Edward Mutesa was only fortunate to have escaped and fled to Britain through Burundi. Obote had also abolished the Constitution of 1962 in the same year in February. He later abolished all kingdoms and chiefdoms and abolished the offices of the Vice President and the Prime Minister. At this point, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni had joined the government intelligence services under President Milton Obote. Therefore, he was behind the scenes watching, observing, learning the dynamics of the economy and politics of the country. In 1967, Uganda and the neighboring countries of Kenya and Tanzania joined to form the East African Community, hoping to create a common market and share the cost of transport and banking facilities. And Uganda then registered an impressive growth rate for the first time in 8 years after independence. By the end of the 1960s, commercial agriculture accounted for more than a third of the GDP. Industrial output had increased to nearly 9% of GDP, primarily the result of the new food processing industries, tourism, transportation, telecommunication, and wholesale and retail trade still contributing nearly one-half to the total output. Now, in 1971, while Obote was away attending a Commonwealth Heads of State meeting in Singapore, Amin Dada seized power and Obote warned him not to return back to Uganda. Now, in 1971, while Obote was away attending the Commonwealth Heads of State meeting in Singapore, Amin Dada seized power and Obote was warned not to return back to Uganda. In the conference in Singapore, the most controversial issue had been the British sale of arms to South Africa, which the United Nations had banned. Obote had been on the front line of blaming this act, which his former colonial masters were doing. So the British retaliated in supporting Amin Dada in staging a coup d'etat against his boss simply because they thought he would be easier to manipulate and deal with.
On 25th of January 1971, Ugandans heard an announcement of a military coup bringing in a new head of state. Obote's army chief, Major General Amin, was now the new president. He immediately suspended the 1967 Obote constitution and ruled by decree. In place of parliament, a defense council of military officers made the legislation.
Nevertheless, Idi Amin Dada did not turn out what they thought he would be. What did he turn out to be? In the next episode, we find out what exactly Idi Amin Dada ended up being.